Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula iRacing League. The Super Formula drivers are out here at Silverstone and ready for a great race. Well, let's go ahead and run through that grid for the day as well. Starting on pole, Ray Aguilar been having a bit of a comeback in the number one spot. Jaden Calloway starting second. We've got AJ Brenner starting third. Antonio Bianchi starting fourth. Michael Fairchild starting fifth. Leo Delmas starts sixth. Craig Brick starting 7th, Julian Medor starting 8th, Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Aussie, starting 9th, Ryan Thibault starting 10th, Xavier Zanabe, the flying Frenchman, starting 11th, Andrew Neri will be starting 12th here today, sliding on back, Felipe Ramos starting 13th, Arturo Mayorga starting 14th, Matt Foster starts 15th, we've got Dustin Oberlo starting 16th, Alex Jensen starting 17th, Jace Meyer starts 18th, Willie Morris starting 19th, Zachary Bowman starting 20th, Adam Plunkett starting 21st. We've got Shazi Zuhair starting 22nd, and Eric Guillory will round out the 23-car grid here today. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on. Drivers will frequently have the broadcast pulled up on a separate monitor or device, and if they don't, they just about always go back and watch this thing over again. So let's see who's going to be bringing out in the top spot here today at Silverstone. A healthy grid, 23 drivers out on track, and a different format than what we've seen in the past. It's going to be a 1-hour race starting as soon as the green flag drops. And then we're going to get this thing going underway. It's going to be a non-stop race here tonight. So no sprint, no heat, and no surprises for these drivers. As we get ready, we're waiting on Felipe Ramos, Dustin Oberlo, Adam Plunkett to set the stage. And then we will send them out for 1 hour straight, 36 minutes. Now, we talked to the drivers, and we know they have enough fuel to make it through the end here today. But there is still the mandatory tire stop being put on the stage to kind of keep things fresh and interesting for the fans at home. So still waiting on Oberlo and Plunkett to set the stage. Looks like the grid is set. The lights come on. And we are green flag racing here at Silverstone. Now, Dustin Oberlo, Adam Plunkett will start from pit road. Calloway gets a great launch, takes over the race lead quickly from Aguilar. I see a couple of off tracks here. That looks like that was Julian Medor having big issues there. As Jaden Calloway is going to hold on to the race lead. Taking it over very quickly from Aguilar. Let's see what happened to Julian Medor here. Focusing in on the number 78 machine of Medor. It looked like, I think that was a turn 1 incident. Just loses the back end. And around goes Medor. So rough problems early on. Calloway's pulled about a 6/10 advantage over Aguilar here at Silverstone. And still very heavy traffic behind. We're focusing on Craig Brick, the number 7 machine. Oh, as we got drivers going everywhere here, off track, side by side. Gareth McAllister has a good advantage there. He's going to move up into 7th. That's 2 spots gained for the number 25 machine. As the top 3 getting spread out a little bit. Brick trying to fire back here against McAllister. And I also see Andrew Neri in the number 64 machine starting to crawl up to the field as well. He's gained 3 spots so far, has worked his way up into 9th on the circuit. Oh, and as I say that, Craig Brick has big problems. I think that was onto the start-finish line straight. Man, what a slow-motion crash there for Brick as he waits for a safe opportunity to get that number 7 machine spun around, and I think Brick's going to take a tow back to pit road. Big problems for Craig Brick. So gets loose, the car snaps, taps the tail against the wall, and finally ends up parked facing a hot track. Hate to see that for Brick. That was such a long, drawn-out incident there. Leo Delmas looked like that might have been an off-track excursion for the number 21 machine, allowing Felipe Ramos, the number 73, to move up into ninth. That's going to be Ramos's fourth position gain. Hard charger out on track, though. It's going to be either Ryan Tebow, Alex Jensen, or Shazi Zuhair. 3 drivers have gained 6 positions so far here tonight. Have another incident report. At this time, it's Eric Guillory. We also had Shazi Zuhair go off track. Not sure if those drivers are going to be involved together or not. There's Guillory. Slows way down there. Before, I wonder if he was serving a slowdown, but an odd way to have to serve that penalty. Checking back in. Jaden Calloway, Ray Aguilar still 1 and 2. AJ Brenner rounding out the top 3. Now Callaway last time by had his fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 39 second point 13 lap time, but Aguilar a 1:39 flat on his lap prior. Now with this long format, 36 laps on the board, I'm interested to see how the different strategies might pay out for these drivers. Scheduled to be just at 1 hour long of racing, not accounting for pit stops or possible safety cars. Now, talking to some of the racers and some of the stewards coming into tonight, everyone was thinking it would be unlikely to see the safety car deployed here at Silverstone. And now that we've clicked off the opening 3 laps, I feel like those wagering we'd be running a caution-free event were right on the money. Checking in on Leo Delmas, number 21, had an off-track excursion, lost some positions, trying to fire back there against Felipe Ramos's number 73 machine. Great racing amongst these drivers. I'm very happy to see the long format coming back into play. We've seen it with other series we cover here at Team Goon Squad. Don't see it often, as Leo Delmas is going to make the pass stick against Felipe Ramos, moving back up to the 9th place spot. Now Delmas still down 3 spots from where he originally qualified. I'm going to be interested to see if Ramos tries to fire back here, or is going to follow along behind that purple and white number 21 machine. Now Delmas is about 1.4, let's call it about 1.5 seconds back from Xavier Zanave, the Flying Frenchman. Zanave is up 3 spots, currently 8th on the circuit. Going back up front, looks like Aguilar closing the gap to race leader Jaden Calloway. Calloway, such a great driver and very likable off the track as well. Always hanging out, chatting with some of the other drivers when he's not putting in tons of laps. But unfortunately for Calloway, has had a bit of series of misfortune so far this season. A series of rough incidents currently has Calloway 4th in points. Aguilar running 2nd on the track is our points leader coming into this evening. Now Calloway had his fastest lap the lap prior, a 1:38, but it is answered against Aguilar, so Calloway must have dipped the tires. And it's actually AJ Brenner with the fastest lap this time by a 1:38.73. Brenner getting some momentum built up. Now, since this is the long format race and there's no refueling in these Super Formula machines, we will not see any pit stops where drivers are getting fuel added. They all have enough to make it till the end. It's going to be a question of when they opt to come down pit road to grab tires. In the past, we've seen drivers try and minimize the time they spend on cold tires. We've seen guys come in very early in a race. We've seen guys really stretch their legs out and box late into the event. So I'm not sure how those strategies are going to pay out here tonight. Looks like another race starting to develop. Andrew Neri has Xavier Zanave closing in behind. That's going to be the battle for 7th. These two drivers are about just a little bit shy of 3 seconds back from McAllister running 6th. We still have 22 of the 23 entries out on the circuit here. As it looks like that battle has cooled slightly between Neri and Zanave. Meanwhile, Alex Jensen, the number 45 machine, trying to make something happen against Felipe Ramos as they're side by side. Jensen a little bit off track there as the Brazilian holds tight in the 73. Oh, and here comes Ryan Tebow joining the fray, that number 27. Tebow's down 2 spots from where he started, but might be able to pick up 1. As I wonder if Jensen had a bit of a slowdown there, as he is almost instantly lost a full second to Ramos, and that has allowed Ryan Tebow, Willie Morris, 12th and 13th out on track, to close in right behind. I see a puff of smoke up ahead. I think that was Felipe Ramos with an incident, as Jensen, Tebow, Morris, and now Jace Meyer starting to close the gap. We may be having a 4-car shootout starting to develop here for that top 10 spot. There's Alex Jensen, number 45. One of our hard chargers who is up 6 positions. Both Jensen and Willie Morris, the 46, currently showing up 6 positions. Willie Morris tucked in behind Ryan Tebow. Let's see. Looks like Tebow has closed back up to Jensen as well. The battle for 11th. Tebow looks for an opening as Jensen guards the inside, trying to carry as much corner speed as he can. Now, this is also interesting. Drivers only have so much push to pass they can use in this feature event. So surely they don't want to use it up too early. I would imagine we'll see drivers a little bit more liberal with the push to pass after the pit cycle has been completed here at Silverstone. And this is quite the battle shaping up. You still have Ramos, Jensen, Tebow, Morris. Now Meyer starting to join the fray. Everybody looking for a top 10 here at Silverstone. That is one of my favorite parts about calling the action at League Zero. There's always great racing across the circuit. And while this battle's going on, Jaden Calloway, your race leader, still has Aguilar about a quarter of a second behind him, pacing the defending champ in that number 1 machine. I'm interested to see, is Ryan Tebow going to try and make a move here against Jensen? He is right off the gearbox of that number 45 machine. Tebow pulls out of the draft, tries the inside line against Jensen. Jensen carries just a little bit more speed there and guards the 11th place spot. And Willie Morris kind of watching this battle unfold, saying, hey, I might be able to get a 2-for-1 here if these drivers make any sort of mistake. Felipe Ramos doing a great job, that 73 machine, guarding the top 10 spot. Let's take a look here. Coming into tonight, Ramos sitting 10th in points as well. He's been very consistent so far this season. This is his 11th start so far of this season. We're getting towards the tail end, but let's go back up front. Looks like Aguilar getting a little bit racy there against Callaway. We saw the rear end snap a little bit loose here, but he was able to hold on to it. So I think right now, before we get to the first pit cycle, I think Aguilar's kind of measuring up Callaway to see where he's fast, maybe see where Aguilar thinks he might be a little bit faster. As I suspect Callaway was hoping to break away here in the opening half. And not quite able to, as Aguilar's done a great job pacing the defending champion. With points in his mind, I think Aguilar knows he's not in a situation where he really needs to win. He is 75 points up over Callaway. Coming into tonight, Aguilar with Avanti Autosport, Callaway with Squid Gang Racing. And no coincidence, those are also our top 2 points. We've had another crash report showing Willie Morris and maybe Jace Meyer. Let's see what happens here. Oh, a little bit of contact there. And Morris and Meyer involved in a big incident. That's going to result in Meyer taking the tow back to pit road. I thought I saw a wheel missing from the number 20 machine. So unfortunately, Meyer will be retiring early here at Silverstone. And Aguilar and Callaway still a quarter of a second. Neither driver really breaking away. We've got Mustard Seed Racing join us in the spectator area. They're just returning from the 24-hour of Lemons event. They ran, I believe it was this past weekend, so good to see them joining, support the show. Aguilar, the back end, dancing on that number 72 machine. Willie Morris down pit road. We imagine he probably has a little bit of damage from that incident between Morris and Meyer. Now, when are we going to see some green flag stops? How long are these drivers going to stay out for? The halfway mark is going to be at lap 18. Oh, and we had another crash report. Dustin Oberlo involved in an incident. Here comes Zachary Bowman. Going to try and take advantage of that 96 machine. Oberlo is going to have some hot tires underneath him. And there we go. Bowman makes the pass for that 17th place spot. Oberlo trying to fire back here as they're side by side at the halfway mark of this track. But it looks like Bowman's going to hold on to that position. Let's see what happened to Oberlo at that 42 to send him careening around. I believe it was a solo incident. He was tucked in behind a teammate and just barely has an incident. Not too much of an issue there. We go on board with Aguilar, the points leader. He's behind the defending champ, Jaden Callaway. And both Callaway and Aguilar have been so extremely quick this season. It's always a treat when you can see these two running first and second. and actually having the opportunity to race each other. There's been too many times, from my personal opinion, that we've seen great racing interrupt between these two just due to moments of unfortunate misfortune between the two. Either one, the other, or sometimes both involved in a crash. Oh, Aguilar right there on Callaway. Now, I have reason to believe that Callaway has used the push to pass a little bit so far at this event. I don't know if Aguilar has pressed the magic button yet. And Aguilar just set the fastest lap of the race on 138.16. So he is moving on number 72. We knew he had raw pace coming to tonight. Started on pole. And now getting a little bit of a draft bonus from Callaway is helping out that 72. Let's go further back. A three-car battle for 17th. Zachary Bowman, Dustin Oberlo, Shazi Zuhair all in the mix. Looks like Bowman's going to come down pit road. And that's going to leave Zuhair and Oberlo elbows out here. So Bowman's going to be our first true green flag stop of the night. And something has happened to Alex Jensen. That's going to be a huge off track for that 45 machine as he loses a spot, 2 spots. Julian Medor, Arturo Mayorga making their way by. That's going to put Medor up into 12th, still down 4 spots from Medor started. But I'm interested to see how things are going to play out once the tire wear becomes a factor for these drivers. Now, even though there is no fuel stops and fuel strategy in this race, tire wear definitely something these drivers are going to be fighting all night long. When to push hard, when to maybe dial it back a little bit. Now Jensen's going to try and fire back against Mayorga to take back over a spot. Tucked in right behind Mayorga. Pulls out of the draft side by side. Oh, who's going to come out on top on this one? Looks like it's going to be Jensen taking back for the 13th place spot. Here comes Matt Foster. Here comes Adam Plunkett. Looking to get some ground going here. Plunkett up 5 spots to that number 40 machine. Trying to get around Foster in the 32. Foster qualified 15th. Still 15th on the circuit, so been very consistent so far here tonight. And Foster's kind of got his eyes going each direction here. He's got Mayorga running 14th ahead of him, and Plunkett in 16th right behind. So does he defend? Does he stay on the attack? As we're still seeing fast lap times from all these drivers at this point of the race. And speaking of battles, there's Julian Medor, Alex Jensen side by side. Alex Jensen takes over this spot here nice and quick from Medor. And then still that 3-car battle for 14th out on the circuit. Oh, here we go. Foster looks for an opening. Side by side with Mayorga. Foster shows in the 14th place spot, but who's going to have the more momentum? Foster makes it happen. Now Adam Plunkett is going to try and get around Mayorga. Julian Medor down pit road for their one and only scheduled stop of the race. Ooh, easy there. Mayorga and Plunkett whipping those cars around. Plunkett, Mayorga still side by side for 14. Plunkett takes over the pass. Mayorga Down one net spot from where they started. Mador out of the pit stall, 6.9 seconds. Eric Guillory's going to come down pit road. Two Frenchmen step onto a British Grand Prix circuit. No punchline, but Xavier Zanave and Leo Delmas battling for eighth. Zanave's up 3 spots, Delmas down 3. It's the number 12 versus the 21. These stories just write themselves here at League Zero. Let's see, does Delmas get a little bit more momentum against Zanave? Both super great guys off the track. Always a pleasure talking to these two whenever we get the chance here at Team Goon Squad. Looks like Delmas just kind of pacing Zanave here. Oh, there's somebody parked off the track. There was Eric Guillory, the number 95 machine, I think, waiting for a clean track before rejoining. And Delma's still able to hold on to that 8th place spot. Meanwhile, Callaway and Aguilar first and second still separated by a quarter of a second. I wonder if this is going to be a race that comes down to strategy here. Aguilar seems like he has the pace as he pulls up alongside Callaway. Is Aguilar going to make a shot at it here, I wonder? No is the answer. Callaway continues to lead. I'm going to be interested to see what the differing strategy is between these two on pit road. Now, neither one's slowing the pace down. They still have a 3.4 second advantage over AJ Brenner, who's kind of out there in no man's land, sitting in third. Aguilar looks to the inside line once more. This is an interesting game of cat and mouse between the two. In the top speed at Silverstone, Aguilar last lap by showed a trap speed of 195 miles an hour. So they make it look easy, but these race car drivers are absolutely humming in these Super Formula machines. Aguilar's backed out ever so slightly, falling about 4/10 off the back of Callaway's number 1. And is that a pit stop I see? No, it looked like Aguilar was hugging next to the track there. Supposed to get a little bit of a stutter there in their broadcast software. My apologies. Something had briefly come unplugged up here in the booth. Looks like that's corrected for the fans. Now, I'm very intrigued to see how the strategy is going to pay out here. If Callaway thinks he might be a little bit slower on raw pace, he might try and stretch that fuel run out as long as he possibly can, or excuse me, the tire run. It's always an interesting strategy when drivers need to box versus, based on tire wear more so than fuel allotment. Looks like 20 drivers still out on track. No, excuse me, 21 out on track. Chase Meyer has been in his pit stall for 13 minutes. Craig Brick has unfortunately retired And you know, I know for certain Jace Meyer is out as well because Meyer took a tow early on in that incident. So both of those drivers will be on the outside looking in. We will be displaying the halfway mark flags, the crossed green and white next time by. Once Callaway and Aguilar around these final couple of corners. Callaway's pulled about 3/4 of a second advantage back to his name as he makes his way on the start-finish line straight across the line. Still running a good pace. It showed a 138.15, but Callaway must have dipped a tire as it did not count for a fast lap. And look at that, AJ Brenner answers a 137.79, a clean, fastest lap of the race. No off tracks, and looks to be the first driver officially into the 137s here. Now, we talked about Brenner being out in no man's land. He is 3.9 seconds back from that battle for the lead. 4.2 seconds up over Antonio Bianchi, but looks like another crash has been reported. This time it's Michael Fairchild, the 88. Just loses the car there and one of the lower speed corners. And that is going to put Gareth McAllister up into the top 5. Now the field fairly spread apart right now. The closest 3 drivers we have out on track, or 2 groups is probably more apt to say, is Callaway and Aguilar, your race leaders, separated by about 0.4 of a second. And then you've got Foster, Plunkett, and Zuhair separated by about 1 second here in the battle for 13th. Onboard Shazi Zuhair's number 10 machine. Both Zuhair. Well, Zuhair just quickly made something happen against Adam Plunkett. So that's going to put Zuhair as our hard charger now up 8 spots. 30 seconds prior, both Zuhair and Plunkett were up 7 spots each. Let's see if Zuhair keeps that momentum going up as he tries to track down Matt Foster. Arturo Mayorga down pit road for that green flag stop. And Zuhair linked up right behind Foster, trying to find an opening. Mayorga's on pit road. Oberlo also on pit road. So now that we have passed the halfway mark, starting to see some drivers hitting their stalls. Now up front, Callaway, Aguilar, really everybody else out on track yet to box here as Zuhair exploring some different lines, trying to find something to happen against Matt Foster. No luck yet. And talking about Callaway and Aguilar, look how close they are running here. They were within 1/10 of a second. We saw smoke off the racing line. That was Eric Guillory having a little bit more problems than 95, but hey, staying out on track, putting in the laps, helping to make it happen. And then we had another incident. Shazi Zuhair made his way around Matt Foster, but Foster had some sort of incident here. Pushed wide. And I think maybe had to serve a slowdown. Well, there is lap traffic ahead for Callaway and Aguilar. I think that's Zachary Bowman in the 96 machine. Bowman qualified 20th. Still running 20th out on the track. Bowman, a driver who's gotten a lot more consistent as the season has progressed. Good to see him staying out there and learning as much as he can from all the other drivers. Now, Bowman will see the blue flag, let another race leaders. There we go. Bowman hops off the racing line. Now, AJ Brenner, the first driver in the top 3 to come down pit road. And I just saw Aguilar's push to pass recharging there. I wonder if Aguilar maybe saw a moment to strike and then change the plans. Now Aguilar's looking for his 6th win of the season. Callaway looking for his 3rd win. And Callaway really needs the points here. So if Callaway can finish in the top 3, that's going to be a good points night. But he really wants to finish wherever it may be, somewhere ahead of Aguilar, to help chip away at that points deficit that Callaway finds himself in after a series of misfortunate events this season. Now, what is going to be the strategy amongst these two? Is Callaway going to wait as long as he possibly can to box to try and keep Aguilar behind? Now, the rule here at League Zero is you cannot commit to a mandatory tire pit stop on the opening lap or the final lap. Aguilar makes a lunge for it at the lead, but not able to make it happen. Callaway very tough to pass and do so cleanly, as both these guys are so incredibly quick, and you can see they're both recharging the push to pass. I have a feeling to make a pass safely for the lead, I think this is going to come down to strategy. Aguilar takes a peek to the inside line once more. Pulls up alongside Callaway side by side for the lead. Callaway fires back. The track puts him back on the inside line, making Aguilar go the long way round. Still side by side. Callaway trying everything he can to make this track as small and tight as possible. Aguilar looking for the draft. These guys still have 14 laps left to go here. The last thing that either driver wants is to push too aggressively and find themselves working this hard to have to retire this late into the race. Now, I would imagine if Aguilar thinks he has the pace, he would try and come down pit road a lap earlier than Callaway. But both the top 2 drivers staying out here. What a treat to finally see these Titans having such a good, clean race between the two of them. Michael Fairchild's going to come down pit road for his green flag stop and mandatory tire change. Xavier Zanave also down pit road, that number 12. Now I'm keeping an eye out as well on AJ Brenner back in 5th. He was one of the first drivers down pit road. He came down pit road on lap 20. First driver inside the top 5, I should more aptly say. Felipe Ramos joining the other drivers on pit road. Callaway still a quarter of a second up and seeing more lap traffic ahead for the race leader. I think that's going to be next. It's going to be Dustin Oberlo in the 42 machine. And look at the lunge there from Aguilar, keeping Callaway on his toes. No room for rest here at Silverstone. Another heated battle. Xavier Zanave, Shazi Zuhair, Leo Dalmas. A 3-car battle for that top 10 spot. All 3 drivers have already been down pit road. Now, it's interesting. Shazi Zuhair came down pit road on lap 3 of this event, taking those mandatory tires very early on. I wonder if that's going to hurt him late into the race as the tire wear starts to play a factor into the lap times, especially with how tight these drivers are battling. And there's also Adam Plunkett behind that 40 machine watching this one. Shazi Zuhair takes the spot away from Zanave. And oh, we hint at 3 wide. Now you've got Delmas and Plunkett side by side. Gareth McAllister, the world famous Aussie, he's on pit road for that mandatory stop. 12 laps left to go here at Silverstone. Looks like Adam Plunkett really coming into his own late into this race. Something has happened to Gareth McAllister. It was a report of him jumping. It showed as some sort of toe, but he's back out on the circuit, so I'm not sure what happened. It happened in pit road, so I don't think that would count against him as taking a toe in an event, which normally would disqualify a driver. I wonder if he somehow, because what I get told up here in the broadcast booth, the official verbiage that's reported to us is a driver has jumped to the pits. Normally we see that when somebody has an incident off track and then forced into a retirement. I don't know what that means when a driver's already on pit road and it says jump to pits. Maybe that they hopped out of the car briefly and then hopped back in. I'm not entirely sure. We'll try and get some clarification on that one. So Callaway opted to stay out longer than Aguilar. Aguilar was in and out of his pit stall in 6.9 seconds. AJ Brenner, again, the fastest lap of the race in that number 80 machine. He's sitting 4th out on the circuit right now. And 2.6 seconds back from now 3rd place Aguilar. Your top 2 drivers, Callaway and Bianchi, have yet to come down pit road here. So I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting to see how this shakes down. Who will be the race leader once the pit stops are completed? Will Callaway come down pit road this lap? Or is he going to stretch it out as long as he possibly can? He is 22.4 seconds up over Aguilar. And now Callaway down pit road. Bianchi, the Italian stallion, is going to stay out for another lap here. So it's Bianchi, Ryan Thibault, I believe, are the only drivers who have yet to box. As we have another incident reported, Leo Delmas involved in an incident and then an off track. Let's see what happened to Delmas at number 21. I believe that was Ramos who was ahead. Unfortunately, just a solo incident for Delmas. So once the pit stops were completed, it's still Callaway sitting in front of Aguilar with about a half-second advantage here. Now Aguilar's got a little bit more warmed up tires underneath him. Callaway's on his outlap trying to get those things up to temp in the number 1 machine. This might be the opportunity that Aguilar is looking for to try and complete a pass for the lead and maybe keep Callaway at bay. It's going to be tough to do with how close these guys are on pace, but the tires being warm, a huge factor in these Super Formula machines. Aguilar tucked in right behind as both drivers on the push-to-pass. And almost identical strategies on the push-to-pass as well. Aguilar looks for an opening, doesn't find it against Callaway, runs up the inside line. Callaway driving defensive here. This will be the battle for the lead. As we know, Bianchi still has to come down pit road, but look who has joined the party. AJ Brenner, the number 80 machine, here to help his teammate Callaway out. Aguilar again hops out of the draft, pulls up alongside Callaway, trying to guard that inside line. Interesting to see Brenner tucked in behind Aguilar, trying to work the draft off that 72 machine. Again, side by side. Aguilar might have made it stick here as they come out on the start-finish line. Aguilar showing in second. Again, we know Bianchi has yet to box, so I think that will put the number 17 machine back into fourth as we've got 9 laps left to go. Ryan Tebow down pit road for his one stop. And AJ Brenner making a lunge against his teammate, Jaden Callaway. Callaway and Brenner side by side, the two teammates. This is only slowing them down as Aguilar tries to stretch his legs out front. Aguilar on the push to pass. He wants to build up a bit of a safety barrier. And it seems to be working for Aguilar. He's pulled about a 3/4 of a second advantage. But I think Callaway and Brenner are going to be able to work the draft together here. The two teammates working the draft together. We got Dylan Waldron joining us. Enjoying the fact we got less than 10 laps left to go, and cheering as always for Mr. Ryan Tebow. The number 27 machine down one spot from where Tebow started, but still having a great race here, holding on to the 11th place position. Let's see, does Antonio Bianchi stay out for another lap? I believe he is here. So Bianchi officially getting credit for a lap led. But Aguilar sitting in second is closing the gap, but something has happened. Oh no. Jaden Callaway and AJ Brenner, the two teammates, were involved in some sort of incident. Oh, the team is not going to be happy about this one. And it looked like Callaway got rear-ended by his teammate Brenner. Oh my goodness. And a night where Callaway needed every single point, everything to go his way, may have just had things dashed by a teammate. Let's see if we can focus in. Callaway's missing the rear wing. Let's see, does Brenner's car still have the front wing, I wonder? No, so the two teammates are going to be driving wounded here. Callaway has no rear downforce on that number 1 machine. Might have a little bit higher top speed, but that is going to be a tough car to hold on to in the slower portions of the racetrack here. And I think if Callaway doesn't have a meatball flag, the black flag with the orange circle, I would imagine he needs to stay out and just salvage every point he can find here. I think he's going to get overtaken maybe by his teammate Brenner, who's again also driving wounded. No front wing on the front of the number 80 machine. So Brenner will take over the 3rd place spot. Callaway's going to fall back to 4th. He has got to be gripping the wheel here in frustration. And the defending champ, Jaden Callaway, is down pit road for a 2nd time here at Silverstone. Absolutely gut-wrenching for Jaden Callaway. Antonio Bianchi, still your race leader, 14.2 seconds up over Aguilar. I wonder if Bianchi might find himself in podium contention here. Callaway's been in his pit stall for 20 seconds and counting, and has fallen all the way back to 14th on the circuit. Will we see Callaway get back out on track? Or is he going to retire out of frustration here? After 45.6 seconds in his stall, Callaway will get back out on track. And I think barely be on the lead lap here. As there's Antonio Bianchi, who's about to put Callaway a lap down. Yeah, there goes Callaway pulling out of the way. My goodness, the championship implications of this long format race. I want to be able to try and find some math here and see if Callaway still has some sort of shot of going for a back-to-back championship. The point spread is going to be huge after tonight. Coming into tonight, Aguilar was 75 points ahead of Jaden Callaway. Callaway and Shazi Zuhair were tied for the 4th position in points. Nick Beaver, who is not able to join us here tonight, sitting 2nd in points. Nick Peterson having a great championship. He's currently 3rd in points. Now, I think Bianchi's on that strategy where he's going to stay out as long as possible, minimizing the time spent on cold tires. And there's Gareth McAllister working his way up into 3rd. McAllister hasn't had the best of seasons either. Running as a part-time entry, I believe only 6 starts. McAllister coming tonight 16th in points. May be able to rapidly turn that around with a podium finish. A possible 3rd or 2nd may be happening here for McAllister. The field very, very spread out. McAllister is about 28.3 seconds back from Aguilar. A full 42 seconds back from Antonio Bianchi. Now, the pit lane time we saw out of Aguilar was 36.2 seconds from entry cones to exit cones. So, in theory, I think Bianchi, if he has a clean pit stop here, should at least be able to hold on to 2nd. There's Antonio Bianchi navigating lap traffic here at Silverstone. Looks like that may be Mayorga ahead of the race leader, the number 17 of Bianchi. Zachary Bowman down pit road for, I believe, a 2nd time. Not sure if that is from damage or a possible penalty. Drivers that are lapped down quickly hopping out of the way for the race leader, Bianchi. Now, Aguilar in 2nd has been closing the gap up to the number 17 machine. Michael Fairchild's moved up to 4th, able to get around to AJ Brenner, who's still missing the front wing on that number 80. Now let's talk about Shazi Zuhair as well in that number 10. Zuhair came down pit road very early, 3 laps in, has gained 16 positions from where Zuhair originally started. Zuhair looking to make it 17 spots as he lines up behind AJ Brenner. Zuhair definitely has the car at this point. Brenner is just trying to salvage the evening with a damaged number 80 machine. And here we go. Zuhair pulls up alongside Brenner and quickly makes the pass. That is going to be the 17th spot, gained by Zuhair, who is having quite the race here. Three laps left to go here at Silverstone. Still waiting for Bianchi to come down pit road and complete that one and final stop, grabbing those mandatory tires. As he still sits 12 seconds up over Aguilar, 42 seconds up over McAllister. Now that is one thing with these long format races. The one GP that we have tonight is towards the end. These drivers can get a little bit further spread out than we've seen in races past. There's Andrew Neri getting ready to try and take over the 6th place spot from Brenner. Brenner's in full-blown damage control after that earlier impact with his teammate. And you can tell Neri's able to just hug a little bit tighter corner there, having the aero on the front of that 64 machine. I mean, these super formulas are so aero dependent. Also looks like Shazi Zuhair catching up to Michael Fairchild. The two teammates running 4th and 5th out on the circuit. Fairchild had a rough start to this race, but still up one spot. Zuhair, what a comeback story there for that number 10 machine. 17 positions gained. See another battle out. There we go. Antonio Bianchi's finally going to come down pit road. Xavier Zanave has gained a spot against AJ Brenner. We pan back to Ray Aguilar. I believe is going to be the race leader by the time this is all said and done. As Bianchi is on pit road. Takes about 36 seconds, what we've seen from other drivers. From entry cones to exit cones. And Aguilar is going to take the lead from Bianchi, who sits on pit road. I think Bianchi is going to rejoin the circuit in 2nd here. Let's check in on, there we go, excuse me, that's McAllister. Let's check back in on Bianchi, who shows about 11 seconds back from Aguilar. And waiting for live timing to update. I think McAllister just had a big blink there in the number 25. Looks to be about 19.4 seconds. Bianchi is ahead of Gareth McAllister. Something has unfortunately happened to Willie Morris. It's going to result in a tow back to pit road. He lost a spot to Callaway and Mayorga there. Ooh, big incident there for Willie Morris, drilling the concrete wall and having to retire that race machine. White flag will be out next time. Bye for Ray Aguilar. Leo Delmas, Felipe Ramos still having a showdown for just inside the top 10. Ramos holds on to 9th, Delma still in 10th. White flag is out here at Silverstone. The British Grand Prix. And Aguilar's looking very, very good here. A 13-second advantage over Antonio Bianchi. Still racing across the track, though, as we watch Ramos and Delmas battling for 9th. Looks like Ramos might be able to hold on to it here. You can see AJ Brenner in 8th using what's left of the push to pass. But we've got a half lap left to go for Mr. Ray Aguilar. Currently first, Bianchi in 2nd, McAllister showing in 3rd. There's Aguilar clicking off the last bit of the raceway here at Silverstone. And trying to pick up that 6th win of the season. Came into tonight as the points leader and is only going to extend that lead. Put your hands together for Aguilar. Picking up the win here at Silverstone. And clicking off the fastest lap of the race while he does so. Oh, we still have a 3-car battle going on as well, so it looks like it's going to be Aguilar winning, Bianchi 2nd, McAllister 3rd. But here's a 3-car shootout for 8th. Leo Delmas makes his way around AJ Brenner. Felipe Ramos trying to hold on to it here. But Ryan Tebow also in the mix. Rapidly running out of time for any big sense to happen. Looks like Ramos will hold on to 8. Leo Delmas in 9th. And not a lot of time here. Is AJ Brenner going to hold on to 10th? Yes, he is, salvaging a bit of the points here. Oh, what a race. We're going to try and get these top 3 drivers up here to victory lane. And we will get things started here. And what was quite a unique race here at Silverstone. We're going to get things started with Mr. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Aussie. Join us, I believe, for the first podium of the season. Is that correct?
I think so, James. I think so. It's yeah, it's crazy to even be here.
Yeah, now Gareth, you're not running a full season so far this season, but you had a top 5 at Road Atlanta and then a 6th at the Red Bull Grand Prix, but seems like things are starting. Granted, it's maybe too late in the season, but have some momentum starting to get built up.
Yeah, I gotta commend, basically everyone for driving. It seemed like a pretty clean race around me. I will say it was a little bit sad being in that sort of bubble with no one to really race against. I thought I had a chance with Fairchild, but he had an unfortunate sort of a spin, and I'm not sure what happened with AJ and Jaden Calloway, but I think they might have got together somehow. I'm not really sure. We apparently there was a little bit of a blip while we were driving around, according to Antonio and Ray. I didn't really see it much, and yeah, not sure what happened there.
Yeah, a little bit of car contact between the 2 teammates, so not a good night. But Gareth, what do you think about the longer format race we ran here at the British Grand Prix? Are you a fan of running it start to finish like that, or do you enjoy the sprint/feature even a little bit more?
Well, James, I'm not super sure anymore because before this race, I definitely would have said I prefer the shorter races. A little bit more action, a little more fun, but I don't know what else to say. I mean, it seemed to pay out pretty well for me this time with the longer format.
Well, good to have you back up here, Gareth. It's been too long since we've had you up here in a broadcast booth. Before I let you go celebrate with the rest of the hooligans, who do you want to give a shout to that helped bring home third for you and the team?
Shout out to Welfare Racing, me and my teammate Zach Bowman. We put on a pretty good show. He didn't get where he wanted to tonight, but I'm sure he'll be back. And yeah, look, it's been fantastic from all of Team Goon Squad. James, yourself as well. I got family watching. I got friends watching. I mean, it's just like the community as a whole around me is just absolutely phenomenal. So I don't know who to thank anyone individually because it's just amazing to have all the support that I do, and I'm very lucky in that regard, James.
Well, Gareth, good to have you back up here, buddy. Congratulations that first podium of the season, and hope to have you back up here next week as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Shout out to my grandma and granddad. I know that they're watching, and cheers for watching every race that I do.
Awesome. Gareth, always a pleasure, bud.
Always a pleasure as well, James.
That was Gareth McAllister bringing it home. And third, up next, the Italian stallion, Antonio Bianchi, a great second behind your teammate. What more can you ask for at the Silverstone Grand Prix?
You know what? I'm just happy to be here. I can't lie. I definitely was not anticipating coming second place, but I'll take it. No complaints.
I mean, yeah, it's a great points night. I believe, I'm fairly confident, the first podium of the season, the highest finish so far was a fourth at Sebring, spattered by some rougher races at Red Bull, Long Beach, stuff like that. But man, how cool is it to have you back up here in the top three?
Yeah, you know what? It's great to be here again. I was on pace probably to have a fourth place finish there behind AJ and Jaden. I did see there was some unfortunate contact between the two of them, so that was crappy. I know Ray was in a pretty close battle with them, but yeah, you know what, man? It's I'm happy. 1-2 for me and Ray, so it was awesome. Good job to Ray again for winning the race there. I tried an alternate strategy while we had the time to kill here to see if going as long as I could was the plan. My left front was at 21%, so that was a little scary. But other than that, it was, you know what? Happy to be here. Can't lie.
Now, you wore the tires down pretty much to the cords, but it seemed like the car stayed fairly well planted for you and the guys after the longer runs.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, it didn't feel too bad. It felt really sluggish in the beginning. I can't lie. It was on the cold tires, and this is the first time we've ever had full fuel in the car. With the 1 hour race, it was very, very sluggish, and I struggled really big in the beginning. I don't know if you watched the gap between AJ and I just continuously climb, and Michael actually started catching me, but probably about 6, 7, 8, 9 laps in, I started to finally get to grips with it, and then I started pulling on Michael, and I was just sitting in no man's there for most of the race, where I was leaving the guys behind me, but the guys in front of me were were driving away too. So yeah, no, again, happy to be here. I'll take a second place. It was good.
Well, good to have you back up here, Antonio. Before I let you go and handle all the steward shenanigans, who do you want to give a shout out to that helps make this first podium of the season possible for you?
As always, shout out to my teammate Ray. Congratulations on the win, obviously to him as well. But as always, he's always there practicing with me throughout the week. He'll tell you otherwise because he probably didn't see me throughout the week run one lap, but we still love him. Shout out to James East, great broadcast as always, and shout out to everybody who showed up. It was a fun race, let alone the very slow, brisk pace for me is what it felt like. And shout out to Gareth, man, happy birthday, and congrats for being on the podium.
Awesome. Yep, cool, Gareth, cool the birthday boy. Yeah, great guys up here in the top three. Antonio, congratulations again, and best of luck in the final race of the season, bud.
Thanks, man.
That was Antonio Bianchi bringing it home in second. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Ray Aguilar. 6 wins, I believe, to your name so far this season. And seasons past, we've seen things go terribly wrong, and seems like maybe the luck has changed this season.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to even talk about it. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for like the SWAT team to kick my door in or something.
Yeah, things are just going too good. It feels like, right?
Yeah, that's when you know something bad's on the horizon. No, we'll see. I've been putting a little more time this season. Things have been working out, and I don't know. Other people are having some bad luck. I'm just out there cruising. I'm trying to keep clean and not do anything dumb and spin the tires. And I think it's coming together. I'm glad it's working out the way it did.
Yeah, the starts are definitely improving for that 72 machine, and it seems like things are going your way. But making it 3 in a row as well. I mean, 2 wins at Long Beach is not an easy feat. And granted, I know that's a tough track to pass at, but it's got to feel good going from a road course with back-to-back wins and then picking up the win at the hour-long race here at Silverstone as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think matching them up like that and doing them back to back. I think I did a clean sweep last weekend and this week too of points. So I'm doing pretty good. It might be able to help out with when I plan a vacation. Maybe I can take a week off if I get far enough ahead. We'll see.
No vacations, only racing.
Yeah, in fact, the biggest thing I need help with right now is I need you to cause a diversion so I can put an air tag on Jaden's car and figure out how he's doing so well off the starts. He's burning me off the starts, dude. And this one was not bad. I have a little thing that tells me how good my start was, and it was about 90%. So I got to figure out what he's doing. He's got a trick up his sleeve.
Well, it's a great race between you guys. Unfortunately, I know it didn't end the way anybody was hoping for, but I think this is the first time in a long time we've seen you and Jaden run so many laps, just nose to tail, clean racing, and actually getting to race against each other for a change.
Yeah, I didn't think there was any advantage to trying to be out in front. I didn't mind. I would have loved to have been in front the whole time, but I didn't think there was much advantage. With the toe, I didn't think I had the pace to run away from him. So I was just settling in, trying not to make mistakes. But it ends up looking pretty good. I need to go back and watch it. I think we were pretty clean most of the time. I think unfortunately he got kind of into some trouble right after the stop. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I'm trying to figure out too when the best time to bring this car in is. I've been looking at data and lap times, and I still can't figure it out. So if anybody's got any ideas on there, please inform me.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season shakes out here. And I know we're going to the Italian Grand Prix next. We've got Mugello coming up. A lot of cool tracks on a historically much longer season we ran in the past. But any tracks you're particularly excited about or apprehensive about?
What's next?
I
actually don't know.
Here, I'll tell you right now. Grand Prix at Monza.
Okay, I'll go to leaguezero.net and click on the schedule for anybody who's interested. Yeah, okay. So next week's Monza, don't expect much out of me. I suck at that track. I'm not great at it. Mugello, I'm pretty good at, or at least so far. We've never run there, but I feel pretty good on it. So, you know what? The rest of the season looks pretty good outside of the big fast GP circuits. Circuit of America is going to be awesome. That's the only reason I'm stoked about the end of the season is COTA is going to be a fun track for this car. It's going to be hard as to get it across the bumps is going to be extremely hard.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but Ray, a great job making it 3 in a row here, a big points lead coming to tonight, an even bigger one leaving tonight. Before I let you go, sign off, celebrate with the boys. Who do you want to give a shout out to that helps make it happen for you?
Charlie Z, number 89. My good buddy James, that's not you. He's a younger fella. And then TGS for putting on a good show. Yeah, I've got multiple friends, James. You're not the only James that I know.
Okay.
TGS for putting on an awesome show. You guys make us feel like superstars out there. And my teammate for bringing in. He's 1-2. That might be the first time we've ever done that for our team tonight. So it's a big night for us.
Awesome, Ray. Again, huge congratulations. Looking forward to the rest of the season. And congrats on 3 in a row here at League Zero.
Yep. I love you, James.
Love you too, buddy. That was Ray Aguilar bringing out home in the top spot. He was accompanied by his teammate, Mr. Antonio Bianchi, and their longtime friend, Mr. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian. On behalf of Team Goon Squad, as well as League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula iRacing League, my name has been James East. Thank you all so much for spending your Thursday night with us, and I'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.